Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have guests on from LaGrange College and also from Troup County DFACS. So stay tuned for those interviews in just a moment. But before we start with today's show, let me just say congratulations to the following city employees that recently received their service award pins. Marcus Jackson received his 35-year service pin, and Wayne Cato received his 5-year service pin. So we say congratulations to both of those individuals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Severe weather can destroy a home in seconds. Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes, and stay informed during severe weather any way you can. It can be the difference between losing your possessions and losing your life. Visit weather.com/ready for more information.
Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today my guest is from LaGrange College. I have the Director of Admissions, Michael Thomas. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, once again, we get an opportunity to sit down and kind of talk about LaGrange College. And before we get into some of the things that are going to be taking place here on the Hill, just talk about your role as the Director of Admissions there, Michael.
Well, as a Director of Admissions, basically, I'm overseeing a counseling staff of individuals who are going out and doing a lot of heavy recruitment, looking at publications and things of that nature that we're going to send out to prospective students to kind of, well, not kind of, but to garner some interest and get them to visit campus. So it encompasses a lot of the admission cycle, from the submission of publications to the receipt of application, all the way through getting the student in and enrolled. And then at the end of the year, looking at that information with my Vice President of Enrollment and also the counseling staff, because it really is a team effort, and seeing what can we do better each and every year, and how can we be more efficient, and what ways we can use technology, the internet, Facebook, whatever it may be, to improve the overall admissions process and procedural type things. So.
Okay. You're talking about all the various social medias out there now, Facebook and
Absolutely.
Google and all those things. You know, you can bring anything into your home with a matter of a click now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. And you're talking about publications, and one of the things that I think that as far as the publication that helps does is kind of get the word out there about LaGrange College. And another thing that you all are doing, and I think you all started this some time ago, is visitation.
Visitation days?
Visitation days, and I think that's coming up. Talk about that for us.
Absolutely. Our first visitation day is coming up on Saturday, September 17th. Registration will start at 8:45, and the day will conclude at about 2 p.m. roughly. It's absolutely a great time for families. And I say families more specifically because we know that, you know, moms and dads and their sons and daughters are sitting around the table deliberating this admissions process and, you know, what type of school that they're interested in. So this event is really geared towards them. We're going to have a lot of individuals representing various facets of LaGrange College, but I think it's most important that families and parents know, students as well, that we're going to have breakout sessions where they can learn about the admission process, they can learn about financial aid, they can learn about, generally speaking, what institutions are looking for as it relates to GPA, what's a good SAT, ACT score. So not only will students and families be able to come and learn about LaGrange College, but they're going to learn some very invaluable information as to how they should approach the admissions process and how these little tidbits they can take with them and use wherever else they're going to be looking institution-wise. So it'd be a great time to come and learn about LaGrange College as well as about the admissions process and the admission cycle. There's just a wealth of information to be learned at this event, and we invite everyone to come. If you want to learn about college, if you want to learn about what to expect, what types of questions to ask, this would be a great first step forward. All right, we want them to learn as much about LaGrange College, but they're going to be able to take a lot away from this event that they'll be able to use elsewhere. So it'll be a great way to prepare them for other admissions related events that they may attend in the future. So
Very good. You know, Michael, there was so many things. I was trying to jot down some notes as you were speaking. There was so many great things there. You're talking about this is, I guess, basically kind of like the first step that an individual can take.
Absolutely.
Student and family. And
Absolutely.
It's so important that families are involved, because I was thinking, my niece just went off to school down in Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
And at the last moment, she comes, okay, can you help me fill out some paperwork?
Absolutely.
And you know, if you hadn't done it in a while, it can be kind of overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And you said there will be breakout sessions to kind of help people to understand what's acceptable ACT scores, SAT scores, I'm sure some financial aid.
Absolutely. Financial aid is a really big piece. Our director of financial aid, Sylvia Smith, is typically there, and she'll conduct a session with our VP of enrollment, and she'll go into financial aid. She'll talk about important dates, when you can start filling out financial aid information, just the entire process. There's a lot to it, all right? But she does a really good job in terms of explaining it in such a way where it doesn't seem as cumbersome, all right? Or it doesn't seem like something that I don't want to deal with it and I push it off. Because the most important thing with the financial aid process is that you do start it early, that you don't defer it, and that and you go into it understanding that if you don't get it, and Sylvia makes this very clear, that we're definitely a resource for that. You know, students who are interested in LaGrange College, our financial aid office is great. So if you have questions, you can just give them a call, and they're not just going to tell you what to do, but why it's important, which is that we're going to go that extra step further. And that's really what we do as an institution. I mean, we really value personal relationships, and we're going to take our time in walking families through this process. And it's very important that they start the process early. And I think that that's one of the things that they can take away from the event.
Very good. And again, that's Visitation Day, September the 17th.
Yes.
Starting about 8:45 and finishing up around about the 2 o'clock hour.
Absolutely. And then to register for it, you know, students would just need to go onto our website, click on the admissions link at the top, and on the right-hand side, there's a column. There will be Visit Campus. Click on it, and it'll walk them through the registration process for it. And then we also have a football game that day, and we're going to be encouraging all of our students at the event to go down to the football game and enjoy it and get a real good sense of campus life and a sense of community, because we have a lot of support for our athletics teams at the college. Absolutely.
Very much so. And again, Visitation Day, and I'm sure they get opportunity to kind of as not only partake of the game and all the valuable information.
Absolutely.
We don't want to discard that, because that's the nuts and bolts of everything that hopefully they'll come to accomplish, is all of those things that you all be offering. And again, is even if they're not interested in LaGrange College, they still can take advantage of it. They
can still take advantage of it. We, just come. We'd love to, even if, like I said, even if you're not interested in LaGrange College, if you come to this event, it'd be a great way to understand the nuts and bolts to this process and to prepare those students for future events that they may attend. And again, to go through it and start learning what are the right questions to ask.
And it's so important.
And it is very important, because a lot of times, when students are at these college fairs and they go up and ask a question, they're going to get an answer to that question. All right. So if they want to know more in depth, not just what do I need to get into a college, because the minimum requirements for an institution could be 2.5, a 900 SAT score, just critical reading and math. Now, a question that would go a little step further would say, okay, what do I need to get into college and qualify for a merit-based scholarship? Those are two different questions. All right. So if you go up and just ask one, you're going to get the answer to it. All right, but if you want to know, okay, what do I need to get in and qualify for scholarship consideration? That's a separate. That's different. All right, and you have to learn how to
the next level.
Absolutely, you have to learn how to dig and get the things that you're assuming that someone's just going to tell you. But be proactive in asking those questions. How much does it cost to attend? What scholarships can I qualify for with what I have? SAT, are you looking at, we just want to know the critical reading and math score of it, not critical reading, math, and writing. All right, so just understanding when you're asking questions, what information you're trying to get, and be proactive in getting that information and not assuming that someone's just going to tell you.
And be persistent.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk. We talked, and that's great. The Visitation Day, and some of the other things that are happening there. I know that you all are expanding in some classes there too. You have an exercise science program. Talk about that, and then we want to also talk a little bit about an entrepreneurship program.
Absolutely, our business department. Well, the exercise science program is something that we hear about a lot when we're on the road. as it relates to prospective students and wanting to venture into this area. And with exercise science, it lends itself to a number of opportunities. Physical therapy, athletic training, you can, sports physiology, learning the movement and mechanics of athletes and helping them improve upon those aspects of their game. All right, so there are a number of different things that you can take from this exercise science program. Even if a student's wanting to go into sports medicine, potentially, this could be an avenue for them to take in doing that. So it lends itself to a wide array of career opportunities that they can choose from with going through our exercise science program. And as it relates to our business department, we have a new concentration in entrepreneurship. So this entrepreneurship program is going to look at or teach students how to start their own businesses. And I think one of the biggest things there is doing a business plan. How do you come up with a business plan? Because you're going to need it if you're going to seek money from banks, or how do you effectively go about this process? And we're not just looking at entrepreneurship from a domestic perspective, as how do I do this in the States, but we're going to look at it in an international perspective. So you're going to write a domestic business plan in one of your classes. You're going to look at entrepreneurship on an international basis and write an international business plan as well. Nayla, who we've just hired on, who's going to be teaching these classes, I mean, she's from Brazil. She's graduated from a number of different universities from around the world, honestly. So she's going to be able to add a great global perspective with it. So not only are they going to learn the nuts and bolts of creating their own business, but they're actually going to be applying this information as well. There's something called SIFE, Student in Free Enterprise, where they can actually, or groups or teams get together and create their own business ideas and actually present these. And there's a regional competition, there's a domestic competition, there's an international competition. So as you're going through and progress, there are different levels in which you can win, honestly, and present your business plans and work through it. So it's not just doing it on paper, understanding concepts. It's you're doing it and you're actually applying it.
The hands-on
and working through this, absolutely. And we do that in a lot of our departments, not just in our business department. There's a lot of hands-on that we're doing at the college.
Very good. And now let me ask, as we get ready to close out, Michael, these courses will start being offered in the fall?
Absolutely, this year.
This year, okay,
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. So again, we got visitation as we close out here. Visitation Day, September 17th.
Absolutely.
Come out,
see the campus. Yeah, and I would even say for Visitation Day, if you don't know anything about the college, if you just have driven by it all your life and you know that it's there, that place on the hill, we want you to come and see the college campus and see the college community. We have students from all over the place. We were talking about Texas. We have a gentleman from Hoosick Falls, New York. We have someone from Maryland. I mean, there are a lot of folks at the college that provide a different perspective and background than just what we have here in Georgia. So there's some diversity here at the college, and we want people to come and see it and learn as much about it as they can.
Very good. Michael, it's always a pleasure to sit down with you and talk about the things that are happening on the Hill, and we definitely want to make sure that everybody gets out to Visitation Day.
Absolutely, September 17th.
And enjoy the football game that day as well.
Absolutely,
all right.
Absolutely.
So Michael, we definitely want to have you come back on again and just kind of give us an update on how things were, and thank you for coming on the show.
We'd love to do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have a guest on from the Troup County Department of Family and Children Services. I have on Shantae Odom, who is a research developer and adoption or social worker specializing in adoption. Shantae, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Shantae, first of all, I have to just ask the question because I've been around LaGrange for a very long time, and I seem to, if I don't know everybody, I know somebody that knows everybody, and your face is very unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're not a local LaGrange girl, right?
No, I'm not.
Where are you from, Shantae?
From Columbus, Georgia, but originally from Miami, Florida.
Aha, I
Yes.
knew it. Now, and whenever someone is new to there, I always have to ask the question, what landed you here in LaGrange, Georgia?
Well, what landed me was just my mother remarried, and he was retired military, so we moved to Columbus, Georgia, and I just commute to LaGrange daily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From Miami?
No, from Columbus.
Okay, all right. You commute from Columbus,
Yes,
all
yes.
right. But let me ask you a question, and then we're going to get into what we're here to talk about. How does Miami compare to LaGrange?
There's no comparison.
No comparison?
No
Okay,
comparison.
all right. But I'm hoping that you're enjoying yourself here in LaGrange, and I
Yes.
know that you're doing a great job there at the Department of Family and Children Services, and you specialize in adoptions, and that is something that I know that a lot of families here in our LaGrange area have been involved in, myself included, and also the station manager here have been foster adopted parents ourselves. So let's just talk a little bit about your role as a caseworker specializing in adoption.
Okay. Well, basically, my job is to, I have a caseload of children, and then I'm looking for them a potential adoptive placement. And then also I have foster parents and adoptive parents, and my job for the adoptive parents is to find a child that, that they can match up with. So basically, I'm doing kind of both. I'm looking for a home for a child, and then for the parent, I'm looking for a child for, them.
Okay, very good. And I know that your job is so exciting, and it probably sometimes can get a little disheartening, I'm sure. Let's just talk a little bit about what does it take for a person to be, and so that we don't confuse the viewing audience, let's talk a little bit about foster first, and then we'll talk about adoptions, okay? If someone is watching, they want to become a foster parent, what are some of the steps that they have to go through?
Well, first what they'll have to do is call our inquiry line and just kind of get set up with them so we can contact them for an orientation that we have at our office. We have those at our office every second Monday of the month. After they kind of get set up with an orientation and they go through that process, we'll do a background check on them, and we invite them to our impact sessions, and that's where we talk about the type of children that we have in care, and things that tools that they can use to help them with the children.
And that's so important when you say the tools that they can use to help them with the child. Because sometimes, well, let me ask this question. In your experience, have all fosterings been to satisfaction?
No, not quite. I would say that we do have some foster parents that may need a little bit more help as far as, with the children that are placed in their home, and we're able to give that to them. So, yeah.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that question, because sometimes parents and the children both need to understand that because they're placed in a home doesn't mean that they're going to stay there, because there may be some differences of values and various things of that nature.
Yes, correct, yes.
Then, so the first thing, if someone is interested, there's an orientation, and then once they complete the orientation, they go to a background, and in the background you get basically is where they do just that, a background search, right?
We do an extensive background check on our foster parents and adoptive parents as well. And then after that process, like I said, that's when we ask them and invite them to our impact sessions that we have at our office, or if it's in another county, we can, place them somewhere over there. But we invite them to that, and then after that, that's when we go through the process of, completing a home assessment, things like that, and making sure that this is really what they want to do, and just them having a say in what they want as being a foster parent or adoptive parent.
Okay. Then when you say they have a say, if there's a child, they can say an age range?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
They can tell us what they're comfortable with as far as an age range, and also the sex of a child. They can tell us if they're comfortable with males and females, or either just males or females. And if they're not comfortable with that, we try not to place children in the homes that they're not, that's not good for them.
Okay, all right. Now, let me ask you, if the family is interested in becoming a foster or an adoptive parent, what is, I guess, is there like a rule of thumb as far as the home size that let's say for example, they were interested in adopting a brother and sister. Is there like a, the size of a home? I guess when you do the home assessment, how is that determined?
Well, basically, I'll have to go out to the home and just kind of see, the size of the home, and I'll do a walkthrough of the home. Basically, after that is done, there's not a rule of thumb is saying that the house has to be so big. It just needs to have adequate room for the space in the child's things.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. And then we're talking about fostering, adoptive. How similar is the process, I should say, for someone that is interested in being an adoptive family?
It's quite similar. The process for an adoptive parent is the same. They go through an orientation first, and then they go through the background checks, and then after they go through the background checks, they go through the impact classes as well. So they're actually in the class together. Okay. And then after the impact classes, we go through and do the home assessment of the home as well. The only thing that is different with the adoptive parents is that the child will be in the home permanently, and they will not foster a child like we would place that child in the home temporarily for a foster parent.
Okay, well, very good. Now let me ask, and I know that when I was a foster parent and became adoptive parents, there was a little stipend that was available to help the student, help the child. Is that still available now?
Yes, it is still available.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Very good. Now, as we talk about the families, approximately it doesn't have to be accurate or right on the money, but talk a little bit about the number of children that are available for adoption in our county or surrounding counties, and then we'll talk about the counties that you cover too, Shantae. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Well, in our county, we have approximately 8 or 9 children that are free for adoption, and then just statewide, Georgia, we have like hundreds of children that need to be adopted.
Okay.
Mostly teenagers. We're recruiting very extensively for that because that's a great need for teenagers.
Okay. And when you said that, it brought back memories, because my kids were teenagers when I adopted them, and it seems like the longer they're in the system, the harder and harder it is for them to become adoptive. Are you seeing that still being the case?
It is, and we just kind of find that, and that is like a myth that we are trying to break when we do have our impact classes, because potential foster or adoptive parents think that children or teenagers, that they just come with so much extra baggage, and it's just kind of hard to break down those walls. And that is kind of not true, because it can be the same as well with a younger child.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I was very fortunate. The 2 young men that I adopted and later on, fostered and then adopted, are outstanding young men. Mm-hmm. They've both gone on. One served in the military for some period of time, and both married now. So I'm proud grandfather, 3 grandsons as of today. So some matches are great matches, and then sometimes, like I stated earlier, maybe some problems that arouse there. But just talk about the support that they have from your office and other caseworkers. Is there a support system for families that foster or adopt?
Yes, there's a support system for our foster and adoptive parents. Like I said earlier, I am the resource development worker. So basically, part of my job is to give that support to the foster parents. I contact them. They have my number if they have questions about anything, or if I feel that they may need some extra support, I may, go out to them on an extra basis and, see if there's anything that I can do to help them. As far as the agency as well, the other workers are just wonderful with the foster parents. They're there to help them with anything. And also our supervisors and, administrator and director, we're just kind of there for them, just to give them all the support that they need. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. And I can remember when it's been some years ago that I went through it. At that time, it was called MAP training, mm-hmm. Model Approach for Parenting, Planned Parenting, I think mm-hmm. it was. So I'm sure those classes are still available. And then all of the individuals that went through that, we kind of formed our own support system too, to just kind of, bounce ideas off of each other. I'm sure that's still taking place as well.
Yeah, that is really good. Right now, it's changed from MAP to Impact now, so that's why you kind of hear me talking a lot about that. But it's kind of the same thing. They just kind of upgraded map a little bit. Okay. But we do have a foster parent association that is also there for the foster parents to kind of, if they need to bounce things off of each other, we do let them do that so they can talk to each other and just offer support to each other about what does it take to be a foster parent, and just helping through like those first couple of days or weeks, or things of getting children in their home.
That's right. I mean, it's a wonderful time. Now let's just, Shantae, if there was someone that's watching the program that they've been kind of thinking about it, but they were just, not really sure, what advice could you give them? And also contact information. They was just saying, well, okay, well, let me just go ahead and inquire a little bit. Any advice you can give them, and then also give them contact information?
Well, advice I would say that if you're interested in becoming a foster or adoptive parent, to act on that, because there's truly a great need for foster and adoptive parents in Troup County as well as the state of Georgia. So I would say if you have an interest and you just have some questions that you're kind of been lingering in your mind, call the local agency, Troup DFACS, and you can reach me at 706-298-7100. Okay,
very good, very good. And again, you said 8 or 9 here in the Troup County area. Yes. And then hundreds throughout the state of Georgia. Yes. And we do, I watch Channel 5 sometimes, and I see the Wednesday's Child, yes, where they have children, yes, featured there. So there's always a need for foster and adoptive parents there. So we're hoping that we can get great homes for those 8 yes, or 9. And you're primarily concentration is Troup County.
Troup County, yes.
Okay, very good. So we hope that we can get families for those 8 or 9 children there, and then hopefully we can get more for the ones throughout the state of Georgia. And we just want to thank you, Shantae, for coming on and sharing this information. I know that, and I think during the month of October is National Adoption Month. Hopefully we can get somebody on to come back and talk about that and some of the events that are planned for that time as well. But I want to thank you very much for coming on and sharing this information.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And when you get ready to go down to Miami again, can you let me know? I would love to go.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Thank you for joining me for City Week, ladies and gentlemen. My guests have been Michael Thomas, Director of Admissions at LaGrange College. He talked to us about the upcoming Visitation Day that's scheduled for September the 17th, starting at 8:45 up on the college campus there. So I'm inviting all of the students that might be interested to come out and take full advantage of the wonderful information they'll have available, and also enjoy the football game. Then I had on guests from the Troup County Family of Children Services, Shantae Odom, as she talked to us about foster and adoptive parents. She talked about the need for additional parents here in the state of Georgia and also here in Troup County. So if you're interested, give them a call over at DFACS. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.
Okay, when I give you the signal, you 2 cut left to the flag. I'm gonna cover you from that tree over there. Remember, don't go for the flag unless you know the coast is clear, okay?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she's the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.